What's going on, guys? It's Frito here. Reaper has been one of my most favorite DPS heroes to play ever since the addition of Perks, because there's so much more texture to his playstyle now and the entire game. With the Season 18 SR reset as well, I used him to dominate some of my placements. So in today's video, we're going to discuss his general playstyle, how to adapt with the perks, where he fits in the meta, and a bit of a breakdown of me honestly destroying plats. Part of the reason why Reaper is a great Smurf character is because he's kind of a skill check. On one hand, you might think intuitively that high skill ceiling heroes are the best for Smurfing. Like if you just pick Widow and aim way better than everyone else, you're gonna have an easy time, yes. But Reaper's built to be incredibly durable, and the response to counter him takes quite a bit of game sense that many players aren't going to have. So you can, probably even easier, just run it down. In Season 18, Reaper got an interesting perk where his teleport is shorter by 25%, so you can't cast it as far, but it casts 25% faster. The pros were experimenting with this a bit, and the reason why you would want to use that is because Reaper ideally wants to pop out and two-tap something. His weakness is in closing the distance, a little predictable, easy to get sniped. He's not very crafty with his engages, so you have to find methods to close the distance. But bullying your way into extreme close ranges can get you kills much quicker than lots of other characters. This is called an all-in playstyle. Venture has one similar, with an escape cooldown, a distance closer, and big burst damage. And on a lot of DPS heroes, if you just learn how to close the distance as Tracer, Genji, Reaper, etc., the basic mechanics of going in fast and shotgunning something down in close range will quickly create a man advantage, and then after that point, because Reaper has lifesteal, he can be pretty tough to deal with later on in the fight, and especially when his perks start to come online. Now, I don't go for the teleport perk, because I think in ranked, I don't have a problem getting into positions that I want. And even if I TP kind of brazenly onto a lot of targets, they're not going to respond appropriately or with enough mechanics to kill me before I have a fighting chance against them. So you can kind of limit test to see, is that Ana going to hit a sleep dart on me? Will that Cassidy hit his nade or headshots before I TP on him and two-tap him? These are the questions you have to ask yourself as a cringy Reaper main. And the faster TP certainly helps you do that more quickly and harder to outplay, but they're going to struggle to outplay it regardless, in my opinion. So because of that, getting heal orbs off of eliminations really helps you roll and close out a fight. Yes, it is a bit of a win more mechanic, but because Reaper has a little bit of a tanking aspect to him with a higher health point and lifesteal playstyle, securing eliminations for heal orbs will let you stay up active in the fight longer and can turn your ultimate into a devastating team wipe if you go play Pac-Man and pick up the orbs as you're confirming kills. Otherwise, for his major perks, he gets the option of more lifesteal, a boost by 30%, after he uses Wraith form, which is a little bit of an issue, or a ranged attack with both barrels that barely seems like better range than the normal fire, but is an improvement. His major perks aren't insane. The problem with using Wraith form to get more lifesteal is that in many cases, if you're using the Wraith form, which is typically your escape, to stay in, then you better have a good target to lifesteal on and win that duel and not die right then and there. Usually Wraith form is used to get away. This is sort of like how I feel about Ramatra's Ravenous Vortex that heals him. Could you use the cooldown in the opposite way that it's normally used? Yes, but then you have to use it that way. And remember, lifesteal doesn't increase your damage, doesn't really change your playmaking all that much, especially if you've already got the heal globes on a limb. But when you're in Wraith, you're supposed to go get healed. Like, you're invulnerable anyway. So if you were able to cast Wraith to begin with, why do you need it to go in further? Well, I can give you one good reason. If you're setting up for a huge Death Blossom, anytime you're transforming like that, maybe using your cooldowns in order to set up your ultimate, that's something you can consider. I still like the extendo range on the alt fire just because it feels cool to use, but neither perk are very good in my opinion. Coming out of Wraith and having boosted heal boost on a good Death Blossom will certainly make the bodies hit the floor. Now we'll look at my Smurf game here, unintentional Smurf because of the SR reset. I'm up against, I think, like a Diamond peak player, probably more of a plat lobby. And something cool is going to happen because I'll get a chance to show you an example of what to do with a Mercy pocketed DPS, because as it turns out, these all-in type characters that can get in close and burst a kill are very good up against Mercy. Normally up against Mercy, you try to play a medium or longer range character, and that range damage dealer has such a big damage and heal pocket boost on top of them that you taking duels against them is going to be very hard. But Reaper, just like Tracer, Venture, Genji, once they get in on extreme close range up against that type of pick, they're going to have the advantage. It's circumnavigating the map to create that to happen every time you fight. That's the tricky part. Luckily, the new map Atlas is filled with the catacombs of little cover positions and hallways, so it seems like anywhere I go is a decent position for Reaper. But honestly, a lot of control points are very favorable for Reaper as well, due to the map just usually being small. Flashpoint maps are a bit hit and miss. Sometimes there's open sightlines, but I think Atlas is the one that is quite large, but with tons of cover. Now, I'm going to do a strat here that the enemy Sojourn with a Mercy Pocket gets raged about as they aggressively try to power slide jump on top of me with the rail. I use my ult to solo ult them. Every time I do this, they're going to give me a question mark like I'm misplaying. But here's the thing. Taking back space on these kinds of maps is very expensive. And there's a lot of defensive style picks that I love to play, whether it's like Junkrat or Reaper or whoever, that can corner camp. Ryan's a good example too. That can corner camp, and as you try to clear into those tight chokes, you can get two-shot. So understanding the way that the map objective works and understanding that principle, that while in some cases there's certain ults that running back onto the point is going to work for you just because the ult is so strong, just in general, without doing that, just a normal neutral fight, retaking space in Overwatch 2 is always more expensive because you don't know where the enemy is. They control when the engagement happens or where. So as Reaper, I don't find it too hard on this map to always fight on my terms. Peeking around cover, life stealing, and when I see a chance for an all-in, jam my shotguns into the mouth of whatever unsuspecting foe. Especially as the premise of this point came from using the ultimate. The reason why that's important is because so many things can easily kill you in your ultimate that it's often going to be used in these brawly, chaotic game modes as a defensive tool, as a way for you to transform, continue shooting, getting more lifesteal. And frankly, due to how fast everybody can move in Overwatch 2, just getting a bit of a player advantage usually snowballs, and especially because Reaper is such easy cleanup. Like, there's a whole bunch of characters that just can't fight the Reaper. He lifesteals, it's hard to miss. His damage gets better as he gets closer to you. His advantage state is really strong because it's hard to mess up from that position. There's a lot of characters whose advantage state can feel weak. Like Widowmaker, for example. Her health is so low that even if she kills two of you, she tries to retake space, misuses her cooldowns, and basically any character can look at her and kill her. Whereas Reaper, he gets an advantage. He still has Wraith. Few things can fight him anyway, and he has a get out of jail free card. So just like I would with a tank hero, setting the tempo of the fight by forcing the situation early on my terms on points of cover and in close range, well, the Sojourn of the enemy team kind of never gets going. They're eventually going to have the best stats of the enemy team, but something that you can look out for when you're watching these like Mercy pocketed DPS, they're getting a damage amp. So they need to have like triple the value of the other damage to win the game. If you're getting hard pocketed by a Mercy and you only get like a 2 KD, that's throwing the game. You've got to get way more done than that. And we make it kind of impossible for the Sojourn to play because even in the moments where they get the line of sight that they want, bearing down on me with the primary fire and Mercy attached, well, I can Wraith to just close the distance and avoid getting hit by the rail or giving rail charge. There's a lot of characters that are in theory strong against Reaper, like, you know, he doesn't have much range. Even his ranged attack is, I don't know. I kind of have no idea how far it goes. It feels like it does the same amount of damage, but I do it just for the cool factor. I don't care what the stats are. Either way, I'm trying to close the distance and getting close. But he kind of struggles to go up against the flying characters. But when you play him in this gas pedal down style of way, you're going to find something that you can fight. And as long as you're avoiding your counters, using the map to fight in rooms and off of cover, well, the enemy's usually pathing in too fast that they're going to be at a huge disadvantage before they can even really think of countering you. That's what makes Reaper so fun to play for me, because he really highlights mistakes on the enemy team that they don't realize they're making. The biggest one being pathing in too early. Like if you use your movement cooldowns to go take space, that kind of isn't relevant or important, and the Reaper sees that, well, I can go navigate back to your backline now with my teleport, and you don't have your movement cooldown to peel. This is kind of a Overwatch community-wide issue. Everyone's very cooldown spam happy, and they don't realize as the tank or the flanker or whoever goes to, quote, take space, every time you use a cooldown to go take space that doesn't win, the enemy can respond by taking better space on something that might kill your team. And if you're not holding your cooldown to respond to that, well, you can't help. Or you die. And then you end up like this Sojourn player who let me drop 41 and 6 against them, getting a mercy pocket the whole time, complaining about getting solo ulted. Like, solo ulting the only thing that could ever kill you on the enemy team is the best thing you could do. It's one of the easiest ways to win in Overwatch. Like, if one of the enemy is your biggest counter and the rest are easy cleanup, you only have to ult them. That's all you should do. All right, 2 last things for you. One, a general note about damage as a role and why Reaper is just so darn reliable and good a lot of the time. Really consistent hero without needing to like master trigonometry for learning one of the Shamadas or something who are much more technical. Due to the DPS passive in the game, surviving and not being an easy dive target makes a ton of space for the team. Because I see too often that teams pick like Cassidy Ashe, 2 characters that can both be easily manipulated by these engage style picks, whether it be a tank or damage, and then they both need peeling and they both can get shut out. The Sojourn with a Mercy would have liked me to play passive on my side of the map, slowly take a poke battle that they're advantaged in with damage amp, and die over and over. But if you learn these hard engage style picks, you put them on the back foot while also being durable yourself. Like, there's not so many things that can easily clear the Reaper. His weakness is just how limited his play is. He's only devastating at really close range, but he sets the tempo, gains an advantage, and that's how he wins. If he doesn't get that advantage early, as the fight prolongs, it starts to get a little trickier, especially if he's on the attack and needs to clear space and he's playing at a disadvantaged position, which is something I haven't mentioned yet. But characters that are good at a disadvantage means they'll still get their value even if you're down a guy or 2. And those are usually the higher risk characters rather than the stable, reliable teammate characters. You can think of it like this. What type of pick should you be on if you're down a guy or you must carry an absolutely useless teammate? You probably need to be like on a sniper or something, right? Take risks on your defense and highly invest in your offense. A lot of flanker picks, especially Reaper, are the opposite of that, where their offense is positionally based. So when they outposition you, then they can burst you down, but they're not going to do it from miles away. Or if they are overwhelmed and there's too many things fighting them. One more bonus clip for you. This was I think my first placement win. It's when I started to realize what kind of playstyle was required to win on SR reset day. And for this clip, I'm shocked on like 2 things. 1, just how bad my tracer is. And 2, the nature of the players that simply will not turn around and shoot a tracer and how long I can go standing behind them and shooting them, which just goes to show if you learn this, you're going to skyrocket through the metal ranks for sure. Even if you die on the route to learning how to mechanically do it, it's certainly the way to play, because if you play in a more safe, cagey way that keeps you alive, it's going to keep you in that rank. So really, all of the flanker class characters have a bit of an all-in playstyle nowadays, whether it be Tracer, Venture, Genji, Reaper, and you have to learn the cooldown cycle of what their kit is intending to do and look to navigate the map to get that into position. Tracer did get some cool perks where she gets more ammo on reload. They improved her recall perk to give over health and more ammo as well. I find those very good, but ultimately, it's because I'm a Reaper player. And even with those improvements, I'd still rather be playing Reaper a lot of the time because I can lifesteal my way out of situations, whereas Tracer, really you want to be dominating the squishy battle. Reaper's a little weaker at his ability to do that, but he's so much more forgiving against tanks thanks to the lifesteal that I suggest you pick up him. Even above picking up Sombra, mainly because she gets banned a lot, and I think she's a lot harder to play and easier to kill. Sombra's got lower overall health, and her skill shot to deal damage is a bit inconsistent. I don't think it's worth investing in her, frankly, because simply hacking a target doesn't always guarantee that there'll be the follow-up to kill it. But they're all quite good options, frankly. And heroes you should certainly learn if you're noticing that too many of your DPS lineups are double hit scan without much flank control. Hit scans are amazing, but the flanker DPS position in Overwatch 2 specifically plays a very important position because they can do a lot of value with little resource and little peeling. So for us, Gamesense minded Overwatch players, they're definitely the damage choice for us. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like. And don't forget to click subscribe and the bell icon to actually get notified when my videos come out. That's been it for me. I've been Frito. I'll see you guys next time.